So in this video, we'll be looking at layer states in Affinity Designer. Pretty much, we want to master non-destructive editing in Affinity Designer. You want to look at smarter ways by which you can present your ideas to clients in a more efficient way, to create multiple versions of your designs without duplicating your entire file, and to quickly switch between different design variations without creating multiple layers. And for those of us who do lots of complex designing, this particular technique is something you would need in your workflow. I mean, layer states slash capture states are it's just your secret weapon to streamline your workflow and to keep your project organized. We're looking at what layer states are, what why they are essential, creating and managing layer states. We look at a few real-world applications to improve workflow. We look at some pro tips and tricks. If you feel this is something you're interested in and you think it's something you're looking out for that could improve your workflow, then come, let's dive right in as we explore layer states and capture state in Affinity Design. What are layer states? Layer states are like snapshots of your layers that you can save and switch between at any time. So think of them as different versions of your design that live within the same file. So a clear definition for layer states could be referred to as essentially different versions of a layer, pretty much saved within the same layer. Different versions of a layer saved within the same layer. This allows you to toggle between the states, making it perfect for creating different versions of a design, such as different color schemes or typography style. So a typical example would be, imagine you having different variations of a logo, and you want to be able to showcase those variations one per time, or you want to be able to show the different iterations of that variation in different artboards per time. So what you need to do is create layer states for them, and you go on to create a capture state for them, so that at the click of a particular capture state, the state you want to showcase per time will be the one on display, right? So a real world analogy would be, think of it like a wardrobe. You have different outfits. Those are the layer states for different occasions, and then you can quickly switch between them without needing a whole new wardrobe, which is like a multiple layers. So I don't know if that analogy makes any sense to you, but pretty much that's what we're looking at. And what this will help you do is it will help you with speed and efficiency. It helps you with non-destructive editing, and then it will help you organize your workflow, right? Um, so in this video, I want to do a simple demo to help me explain what I meant by layer state and capture state. And I mean, you would begin to understand and see how this can improve your workflow as we proceed. So if you are with me, let's dive right in. Okay, so the first thing first is I will go and import the sneaker. Let's just say this is the sneaker we're working on today, right? We zoom it out a bit so that I'm going to keep this very simple and very basic. I think they call sneakers baskets in French. I may be wrong, but I practically use them Google Translate to see if I can, translate sneakers into French. So this is a layer of a pair of trainers rather. Well, I'll just call it sneakers for the sake of this tutorial. All right. Let's bring in our text. So call this sneakers. Sneakers. Let's see if we can change our text to something more exciting. Here, which is not a bad idea. So I want to create the blue version of this and a different color version for the sneakers. Just call these, what do we call this? Let's say 100%, 100% cotton. Yeah, 100%. We have to change that font to something else. Okay, let's leave it like that. Represents wool. Let's make it column. Let me just do this. Let me create stroke. We've not gotten to the point where we'll create. We've not gotten to the point where we'll have to create our layer states. For now, I'm just trying to, trying to prepare the elements I will be needing for whatever it is I need to do. All right. With that being said, I want a situation where, let's leave it as great. We are assuming this is a banner to be used on an online store, and we want to make different versions of this shoe, but we want to also be able to showcase them. So what I will now have to do is duplicate the sneakers. I will need to resave the sneakers as blue, call it sneakers, and call it blue. Let's represent blue with BL. As we want to call the other one trainers. Trainers. Okay. So sneakers will be called sneakers underscore BL. Now you would notice that a pattern to how I'm beginning to name these things right now. So this is a rectangle. We'll call it a rectangle underscore BL. We'll leave this as 100% wool. So the things we'll be changing would be the sneakers should be trainers, the color of the sneakers, and then the color behind the 100% wool. Now, what we want to do now that we have created some of those things, if you notice, the only element here that is not associated with any of those colors is this 100% wool. But it only makes sense if we can just, rename them so that they are aligned with the associated colors. So I'll call this one 100% wool, 100% wool. Then I'll do LM. Then I would duplicate, then call this one BL. And the same thing would apply to rectangle. Same thing would apply to rectangle. I'm not sure how you name them. Rectangle matters so much here. So long as, in this context, so long as you have those tags in front, then I think you're good to go. Okay, I'll call this BL. So we'll duplicate this rectangle here. Let me do something on this. Let me do a hue, HSL hue saturation on this footwear and see what color we come up with. Okay, let's work with this color. So we'll call this lemon. Trainers underscore. Let's call lemon LM. We'll rename this as underscore LM. We'll change the second rectangle to be this color. And then we'll change sneakers to trainers. Trainers. So now we have all of these things set out this way, all on the same artboard. Let's start applying our layer states. So for you to activate states here, you go to Windows States. Then states will be activated. You may want to even bring it out here so that you can see what you are working on. All right. So first off, let's start with the queries. We want to be able to isolate the sneakers, all the elements that make up the sneakers. So we also want to make sure that we are speaking to the document in question. Click on add new query, call this query BL. Good. Then within this query, we want to check certain elements so that we are sure that as we are calling this state, all the elements associated to that state is what would appear. So we'll click on layer name, and then there's this feature in Affinity Designer under states that helps you narrow down to the elements that you want to call. So in this case, one consistent nomenclature around the naming of my layer is the BL and the LM. BL, remember, is the blue, and the LM, remember, is lemon. So I do BL, write BL, then I'll put my $sign, and then I'll click regular expression. This is all you need to know for now. You can go on to explore further, create another query. I will call this LM. Remember, LM is supposed to stand for lemon, right? Then we do repeat the same thing we did for that one. We click layer name. We come here, write LM. This query helps us narrow down our search and call the associated elements that has LM. Then we ensure that we check regular expression. So what we have done right now is with these, we have created the states. Now, if we want to take it a notch higher, we can now say we want to create captured state. Remember when I talked about a bit about captured state, I said it's similar to when you do a screenshot. So imagine we have the blue sneakers here, and we don't want to go through the process of having to touch these states anymore, but we just want to register these screenshots and save it in a layer, and that layer will be called capture state. What we'll do is we click on capture state. Remember when we were creating queries for the state, we started from this add new query here, but this time around we'll come to add new capture state, and this is what we do. Now we can now call this blue sneakers. We've created a capture state for that. Now if we close off this blue sneakers and we're on the trainers, which is the lemon trainers, we can also create capture state for this lemon trainers. We can call it lemon trainers. Now what this had done for us is we can now go on to just click on the capture state, and we'll have our different banners for the different purposes. I find great use for this, especially in situations like this. And I keep saying, especially for people who are working on complex designs, right? While you are creating your designs, you are naming them at the back of your mind. You know, these layers, these associated elements need a tag, right? Just think about it this way. All related elements need a tag, such that if you want to call those elements up, it is those tags that you will query to call those elements up. And by the time you call those elements up, if you don't want to go through the creating queries and touching up the tags, all you need to do is, as soon as you call them up, you capture that state, and Affinity Designer would register that state in what we call the layer state. And all you need to do is toggle the layer states to see the designs you have created. Exciting, I guess. So that is how you use layer states and capture states in Affinity Designer. Okay, here are some pro tips for you. Now that you kind of understand what layer states and capture states are, it will be nice for you to take it a notch higher. Those of us who just want to, further improve workflow by using shortcuts, ensure that you use keyboard shortcuts to switch between your states quickly, right? You ensure that you export multiple states at once using export personas, and then you can combine layer states with symbols for maximum efficiency. You can refer to my video where I talked about layers and symbols and how you can create symbols and how you can reintroduce them into your design without altering the original one. So you can apply them in this context, right? Then you can create a safe state before making major changes. You know how usually in normal layers in Affinity Designer, where you can have your base layer, so it's more like your original design. So in this case now, you're not worried about what's happening to your original design. You can have your original design and still showcase your original design without altering other iterations of that particular design. So you see how efficient this feature is for users in Affinity Designer. So let's even talk about the common mistakes you need to avoid. Now you need to avoid not saving states frequently enough. What that means is whenever you create a state, ensure that you are saving that state so that it's easier for that state to be captured. Now, another easy pitfall is you can get carried away with nomenclature. By nomenclature, I mean the way you name your files, right? So try to use clear naming conventions so that it's easier for you to capture them when you are creating your state. And then don't forget to update all your states when you make global changes and all. So these are just some of the common pitfalls you can easily encounter while you get carried away with layer states in Affinity Designer. Now that you kind of understood or you understand how to use layer states in Affinity Designer, now it's your turn. Take any existing design and create at least 3 different states. Share your results in the comments below. I would love to see what you create. Yes, and if you think there is some, I've omitted something in this tutorial, please go down in the comment section and just comment what it is. And if you think you have other insights you would love to share with us, please go down to the comment section and share that particular insight. I would appreciate that. And I would like you to also hit the like button and subscribe for more Affinity Designer tutorial. Drop a comment if you have any questions, and check out other tutorials I have on my channel. Share with other aspiring designers or intermediate designers who would find this very useful. Until next time, see you in the next video. Ciao.